Alright, so I'm guessing you're wondering why there's no beers here on the table.
There's no beers on the table. I have a bottle of water.
So...
Clear, crisp, refreshing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This got uploaded on an odd night. A Monday night. So, as you can see by the screen, we're doing a Vlogs at Rock episode.
Monday night!
Yeah, episode 4. This is totally separate from All In, which I've been doing sort of solo. I've been listening to full albums and giving my thoughts on them.
I've kind of jumped on his coattails and did the same thing.
But I got plenty of that coming, but that's a whole nother series.
Yeah, anyway.
So, after talking about hair bands, I guess this subject is a little bit hair bands, a little bit not. We're going to talk about Wuss rock.
What would you classify Wuss rock?
Well, two things come to mind when I think Wuss rock.
Okay.
I would say, number one, Nickelback.
You would call Nickelback Wuss rock?
Yes.
Okay, I was kind of saving that for a separate episode, but alright, we'll get into this. What is people's hard-on about hating Nickelback?
I think a lot of it has to do with, and I don't hate Nickelback, don't get me wrong. I liked them when Silver Side Up came out, but I think it's like their mainstream popularity and how they saturated the mainstream airwaves with it.
I'll accept that, because...
Like, Photograph was played to the point you didn't want to hear it anymore.
But I'll say this. If you go back and you listen to Nickelback albums, and you listen to the songs that were not on the radio, they're pretty awesome.
I agree with that.
The Long Road, I think, was their third album with...
excuse me.
Like, their biggest hits on that were Some Days... I'm drawing a blank here, but... honestly,
You're shooting blanks.
Yeah, honestly, like, the B-side cuts that I call them, like the deep cuts that were not released on radio, some of those are pretty fucking badass. But I guess you could call them Nickelback Wuss rock, but...
It depends on what song, though.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the ones that were on, like, top 40 all the time, I would call it Wuss rock.
When you play them on Wink 104, which is our local...
Yeah, they were our pop station. Now they're more of, like, a hot adult contemporary station.
They were our top 40.
They were the top 40 back in the day. Bring, bring. And then they kind of moved to, like, hot AC, as they call the format.
Yeah, I guess you could call Nickelback Wuss rock.
The second one that comes to mind, and it sort of has to do with Beavis and Butthead in 1993 and what Stewart wears. Winger.
Winger.
Now, I'm not going to say, like, all of Winger is Wuss rock, like we say all of Nickelback is Wuss rock. I'm not going to say that.
Winger had some bangers, but yes, I will totally agree.
They were they were like late to the party, as we probably said in that video.
Absolutely. But Kip Winger, he was not in it for the rock. He was not in it for the music. He was in it for the Poonaner, and nobody can tell me differently.
I guess he had maybe a year or two of good Poonaner, and that was
because that is what Wuss rock is intended for.
I guess you could almost say power ballads could be almost Wuss rock, in a way.
You could, because their sole purpose in life of Wuss rock is to get you laid. Sure. In the 80s, if you were sexually active, you put on Wuss rock, you got laid.
Or if it was in the 70s, maybe, I don't know, Journey?
Journey, you could say that. I would classify Richard Marx as Wuss rock.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Like he had some rockin' tunes, but he played a lot of that slow stuff.
Like, he didn't rock enough to be on the rock stations.
No.
He was always strictly on pop.
You could even say later Bryan Adams was rock.
I would say Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton, and honestly, Michael Bolton released some heavy metal tunes back in the day. Before
we may have touched on this on one of the previous videos.
Yeah.
But it was like 1985. He had a couple of songs that you could damn near put in a hairband playlist.
And they were pretty awesome, too.
Like, Everybody's Crazy, that's the song. Go look it up.
Everybody's Crazy was one of his big ones outside, but then he started releasing, like, How can we be lovers if we can't be friends?
I had I can't speak. I had an epiphany.
Epiphany, yes.
Yeah, so, as you know, I drive around during work, so I listen to a lot of music while I'm driving around. Yeah. So I have a hairband playlist.
Hairband, yes.
So, as you may know, Pantera was considered hairband back in the 80s.
They were when they
before
first
they became like hardcore metal in the 90s.
Yes.
Well, I had Everybody's Crazy come up on my playlist by Michael Bolton. Right back to that, a tune from 1985 from Pantera, and it almost damn near matched up.
Exactly.
Now, if you were to do that in 1990 with both of those bands, you're talking about two completely different types of music.
Without question, you would not see Michael Bolton and Pantera going on tour together.
Well, you would not hear Cemetery Gates and How can
I supposed to live without you?
Like, you would never get that in, like, the same station.
But my God, Michael Bolton got people laid.
I'm sure he got himself laid.
Bryan Adams got people laid. Everything I do it.
That was a late 90s song, but it wasn't really hair band.
No, really, Bryan Adams, back in the day, Reckless was one of his bigger albums. That had a nice blend of rock, like stuff you could actually rock out to, Summer of '69.
He was more like, he wasn't hair band, but he was more classic rock in those days.
Right.
I guess you could say.
Yeah.
He kind of fit in there with, like, say, John Mellencamp and those type of groups back then.
Would you call Phil Collins Wuss rock?
You could.
Because again, I mean, people get laid by him.
I mean, we used to listen to 93.5 WTPA back in the day. That was our rock station before 105.7 came in. And it depended on the song. Like, some of his slower songs you only heard on Link 104. But his more rockin' songs, and even Genesis too, you heard a lot of those on 93.5. So it depended on how the songs were, I guess, as to what station you heard him on.
There is no metalhead person out there who can deny that they do the air drumming, and I Can Feel It in the Air Tonight. Everyone does that.
I think about that clip on Family Guy whenever Stewie got stuck inside the television when it was staticky. Yeah. And then he's like, wait, I got to do this. And I remember. I always laugh at that shtick.
Nobody cannot do the drum solo. Who else?
I know Nonpoint did a cover of that song.
Yep. It's not as good. Anybody on VH1 really would be considered wuss rock.
Yeah, but VH1 sort of surpassed MTV, though.
It did,
it's kind of weird.
Not at the beginning, though. When MTV first started.
VH1 was considered the hit video channel. You didn't see metal or rap on
Video Hits 1.
Yeah.
No, gas.
But then VH1 Classic, like, kicks ass all of a sudden.
Yeah, maybe later Def Leppard, you could call wuss rock. There's some... Like, even your heaviest of heavy metal bands had wussy songs.
I would say a particular song would definitely qualify. More Than Words by Extreme.
Extreme?
Yeah, and they have a title, like the name of the band is Extreme. You would think they'd be hard.
Yeah.
But no, they released More Than Words.
Their biggest hit is More Than Words.
They were like all over pop radio with that song.
Saigon Kick is another one.
Love's on the Way?
Yeah, that's the only song they're really known for.
I love that song, though.
Call
me a wuss. I don't care.
And, again, we're kind of doing that, too. We're not saying this shit sucks, and we're like, oh, my God, we don't listen to this shit.
Yeah, a lot of it we do like.
Over the years, I've grown accustomed to listening to Phil Collins, because motherfucker's talented, and he knew his audience.
Well, did you know that Genesis in the 70s was not Phil Collins? It was Peter Gabriel.
Yeah. Peter Gabriel could be wuss rock.
Yeah, true. Although Sledgehammer, I guess, was catering to both audiences, though. I don't know if it was wuss rock, but it was pop friendly and rock friendly.
Sledgehammer has that great. I don't even know what instrument.
It's a weird fucking video.
Well, the Sledgehammer video, that weird flute instrument, that.
And they got that train track going around his head.
Like, every time I hear that, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, in the middle of the song, you hear this.
Well, see, Phil Collins didn't get popular, or not Phil Collins.
Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, Peter Gabriel. I had a brain fart. He didn't get popular until after his time with Genesis. And then Phil Collins...
What is that?
I mean, Phil Collins got popular in his solo career, and then his popularity really took off when he went with Genesis.
Yeah. But yeah, we're not saying wuss rock is necessarily bad, believe me.
But Peter Gabriel, a particular song of his that I call wuss rock is Your Eyes.
Mm-hmm. From Say Anything, yeah. John Cusack holding the boombox over in the air. Again, get you laid.
How about Kansas, Dust in the Wind?
Yeah, I mean...
it kind of had the violins in the middle of the song.
Any kind of power ballad you could call wuss rock, but... I'm thinking more like Nelson would be considered wuss rock.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. You know, the Twins, they were late to the party. Of course, we probably said that in the last video.
For me, my definition of wuss rock would be a band that tries to play metal, but is no way, shape, or form metal. You're not seeing Nelson touring with Megadeth. You're not gonna see Winger tour with fucking Metallica.
Or Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, you're not going to see that. They're going to be touring with different people.
They might tour with, like, Gloria Estefan or some shit.
They might, yeah. And or tour with each other, either way. But wuss rock is not a terrible thing.
It's a mellow thing.
It's a mellow thing. You get to a point where you just can't headbang every day. You got to calm the fuck down. Like me. I'm old as fuck.
I was thinking about, like, I guess we're going back to Genesis again, like, Just Like Paradise.
Yeah.
That was definitely a wuss rock song.
Take a look at me now!
I thought it was funny how South Park made fun of him. Fun of Phil Collins.
Oh, I think it's terrible, isn't it?
Just your studio!
You're inside of me!
Believe it or not, though, I do listen to Phil Collins and Genesis, though. I will admit it.
Oh yeah, I listen to Winger, I listen to Bryan Adams, because music today sucks. You got to go back to what you like, what you're used to.
I remember hearing like Bryan Adams at a party dance. You know the moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The girl who was after both of us became another friend of ours' wife.
Yeah.
And they got married and had 3 kids together.
Baby, you're all that I want. When you lie here in my arms. I'm sorry, I will never sing.
Didn't we one time come across the dance version of that song?
Yeah,
it was on my satellite system.
Yeah, like a techno version. They redid it.
Dude, that's a Bryan Adams remake.
I'm like, this song's kind of catchy. It is.
Well, of course, that doesn't even qualify for rock. I'm not even going to go there.
No, Roxette would be another wuss rock band.
They're sort of on the edge. Like, I never, like, called that, like, even though they have the word rock in their name.
Yeah.
You know, hypothetically, I always considered them pop. Like
they were pop, but they were technically rock.
You never heard them on a rock station.
No, but they're considered to be a rock band.
But I listened to them too.
It must have been love, but it's over now.
The one song I like from them was Joyride.
Yeah.
It was
Hello, you fool.
It wasn't really popular by today's standards, but it was back in '92.
I love you. Try Joyride.
And then they did that other song called Dangerous.
I will never sing again if you get to 2,000 subscriptions. We
might go below 1K after this video. Yeah, I blame you!
We're going to lose a bunch of people with me singing. God, I'm drawing a blank. We should probably write this shit down.
Yeah, not drink so much when we do.
Because, yeah, when you hit the 90s, everybody kind of went off into their own little subgroup. Because the 80s was more, everything was together. Pop music, rock music was all kind of conglomerated into the hair metal scene.
Oh, I know a wuss rock song. I'm kind of like talking more 90s here.
Okay.
And this is from a grunge band.
Okay.
Last Kiss by Pearl Jam. Now, it was... Now, Last Kiss actually was an oldie, so it was a cover.
Right.
But it was sort of like Pearl Jam sort of got away from their heavy metal. Like, not really heavy metal, but their heavy riffs. I know, you're not a big grunge fan, but I just had to bring that one up. How about, since we're talking 90s here, how about No Rain by Blind Melon?
Their only hit, really.
Yeah. Although, they're kind of more like... Have you ever listened to, like, Underground Blind Melon? Like, you go deep into the albums?
No, not really.
They sort of have more of a jam band feel to them.
Do they?
Yeah, like... So they sort of remind you of Jane's Addiction a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Whenever you go more into their deeper cuts.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that certain bands that get that one hit, and that's all they're ever known for, and then you go back and you listen to their shit, like... I wouldn't call it wuss rock, but Uncle Kracker, when he came out with that...
We're talking 2000s at this point, right?
Yeah, he came out with that song...
Follow Me.
Yeah, that one. My mom loved that song, and then she borrowed the album from my niece.
Isn't it like a parental advisory album?
Yeah. Because
did they have metal in that album?
there was metal, rap,
Swearing,
cursing.
I bet your mom was freaked out.
She said, I really only like that one song, and the rest of the album is not like that. I said, yeah, that was the trick. They would release the one song that got popular on the radio, and everybody's like, huh, the rest of the album must sound exactly like that. It didn't. At all.
Another Wuss Rock song I can think of is, since we're in the 2000s now, is when Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow teamed up and did the song Picture. Remember that song?
I put your picture away. And then the next song, I want to fuck your pussy!
But Kid Rock, honestly, Kid Rock started off with the I want to fuck your pussy type of stage. Like he did Devils Without a Cause and Cocky. And
you
then
never met a motherfucker like me!
And then when nu metal died out, he sort of like went off on his own there and started, experimenting a little bit.
I'm gonna sing a love song. I'm gonna be a nice guy. I like the way your hair blows in the wind.
And then he kind of got back to his roots with one of his more recent albums.
And then the next song, Make Your Asshole Bleed!
I definitely recommend Devil Without a Cause, though. That's a good album.
Devil Without a Cause! I'm going platinum!
That's an album you got to hear on your subwoofer. If you have a sub in your car, got to pop that one in.
No, I really don't.
I do.
Yeah. But that's really the only Wuss rock I can think of. It's rock music that is mellow, that you can listen to get yourself in the mood with you and your significant other. Get things going.
Or maybe the artists did those to get their.
I know most of them did.
Another one, and I know you might curse me for this, is Whitesnake could be considered Wuss rock.
Absolutely, Whitesnake.
Think about it.
Yeah, a lot of their songs are very much heavily played.
Of course, a lot of '87 hair bands, a lot of the stuff released in '87, as we said, could be Wuss rock.
Yeah, any power ballad is Punanner fuel. They're trying to get the Punanner.
Even Kiss did it.
You know how many men Gene Simmons were... Not men. How many women Gene Simmons were with?
I'm sure men wanted to fuck him too, though.
They probably did, and it was the 70s. He was probably high on cocaine. So
I would say, like, his Wuss Rock song, at least from the 70s, would be Beth.
Yeah, and Peter Criss sang it.
Yep.
That's definitely it. So...
How about, we'll go to another one from the 70s, since we're in that decade.
Right.
Love Hurts by Nazareth.
Yeah.
Sort of a breakup song, but then you go to the rest of the album and it's like freaking hard for that time.
Yeah. Love hurts. Love scars. Bleed.
That's not really a get laid song. That's more of a breakup song.
That is a breakup song, and that's another Wuss rock genre. Is the breakup song. Everybody had a breakup song.
Cinderella. Don't know what you got till it's gone.
Exactly. I mean, shit happens. People fuck up.
I'm sure we missed a whole bunch, but I mean, if you can think of one, drop it down below in the comments.
You kind of get our feel of Wuss rock. Back in the day,
after the rain,
you wouldn't get caught dead listening to it, but as you get older, you're like, you know what? I'm going to jam out the fucking Nelson.
When you're younger, no, this is my theory. When you're younger, you're a closet listener. When you get older, you don't give a fuck.
Yes, you're a closet listener. Because I guarantee you, hey, I rocked out to Nelson willingly in the 1990s. I don't fucking care.
I only listened to it when I heard it on the radio, and then, like, I would say right around the 2000s, I was in the midst of listening to nu metal, but I was also kind of reverting back to, like, the hair bands again at that time, and I bought, like, the 20th century Nelson compilation.
Because I guarantee, Love and Affection comes on the radio, and you're with your buddy, and you're both looking at the radio like, man, this really sucks. You almost pull a Tommy Boy where you're like, yeah, this sucks. You can go ahead and change it if you want. Like, well, no, I mean, there's nothing else on. We might as well just listen to it. It's not going to be long. And 30 seconds later, you're both going, I can't live without your love and affection. Trust me. Deny it.
Or you're listening to the Carpenters.
Or the Carpenters. You listen to it. You admit it. Just admit it. It's fine. It's all good.
I need you now. What was that one?
That's,
Was it Sheriff?
Yeah, maybe. Or Alias. No.
You sure it wasn't Sheriff?
Maybe it was Sheriff. I don't know. Just listen to Monster Ballads. That's Wuss Rock. Everybody's on that shit.
That's what the hell they need to change that CD to. Wuss Rock!
Yeah, Warrant.
You get 32 Wussy tracks for $19.95.
Warrant, Poison, Nelson, not Accept, but Extreme.
No, Accept was never Wuss Rock.
No, nothing. Just listen to Monster Ballads. You'll get it. Danger Danger is Wuss Rock, technically.
Although, that's another one of them bands where, like, their Wuss Rock overshadowed, like, their good rock.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of bands like that. Like, I feel like Extreme was that way, too.
I listened to the Danger Danger's first album, and Bang Bang and Naughty Naughty were their big hits. But the rest of that album is pretty tight.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, real good. So,
Extreme kind of surprises you, though, because when you think Extreme, you think more than words. But I like their song, Get the Funk Out.
mm-hmm.
When I remember, like, they were playing that song on the radio, and here I was, 11, 12 years old. It's like, did they just say the F word on the radio? This is cool shit. Get the funk out! Get the funk out! Get the funk out! It really sounds like the other word.
Even Wholehearted is pretty good. Or Hole in My Heart.
Yeah, Wholehearted, I think it was called.
Yeah, Wholehearted. There's a hole in my heart that can only be filled.
They were sort of, I mean, that was sort of between rock and power ballad. It was sort of like above power ballad, but not quite.
Yeah.
But it was, like, that song was all over the place.
Mm-hmm. But, anyway.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed our thoughts on what we call Wuss Rock.
And I hope you do not unsubscribe to my singing. Although 2,000 subscriptions will make me never do it again. Tell your friends.
That's what she said.
That's all fine.
Alright, well, we'll see you next time in
Peace.
chicken grease.
Rock out with some Wuss Rock.
Rock out with your what?
Yeah.
Never mind.